Good evening, Warband. So we got Hannah Tedesse and Sergeant Grinch in the chat. Welcome, welcome. So we are back to Conan Exiles after, well, basically all of Season 1's done. So now we've got to Age of War Season 2. And while we prepare for, well, the main feature of Season 2, I'll show a little bit of how the fort's come along and some of the changes that have happened. Sergeant Grinch, this is a continuation. It's the same Warband server. We're in the same tower, so one. But now there's a whole new battle pass with a whole new set of challenges, and there's been a bunch of changes to the core game since. We just used a bunch of our alchemy stuff to reset our attributes. I'm gonna try not to get lost in my own tower as I get around here. So. Now the main thing is that in Season 1 of Age of War, we gathered a large number of treasures. My numbers weren't insanely huge, but I gathered up a decent amount. Now, in Season 2, people are going to try to take them from us, and we actually get to fight them off. Now, he's only level 5, but hopefully he'll be enough. Hey, Kite and Chaz, Puniti. So, I'll show you. So here's some of the treasures. I used to have my treasure vault designated as down here, but I actually moved it upstairs. So I don't know how many of you have seen the tower, but we've had some expansions since. We'll do the building shites in a little bit. First, I really want to try this new purge system. Because normally the purge would be a bar that you'd fill up as you did various stuff in time past. Oop, hold on. Then you'd get the purge comes and they try to destroy your base. Now, they're actively aiming for your treasure vault to try to steal all your treasures. Survival cross-gen gameplay. I mean, if you mean cross-platform, I don't think so. As for cross-gen, I'm not sure what that would be. Like if you've got a PC, if you've got the PC version of Conan Exiles, then you can message me on Discord, and I'll probably let you onto the server. We've got a couple other people's buildings on here, though it's been pretty quiet lately. We'll head all the way right up to the top. I don't consider the tower complete. It's really, really patchwork, if I'm being honest. But it's big. So, This is a decent amount of the collection of treasures I have. We are way out here. Got a good view. I'm good at that. We're pretty high up now. I'm doing right now is I'm working on making a windowed glass dome. Because here's the thing: if you pick up treasure chests or various other items like these statues or certain braziers, you can place them down in a designated treasure vault, indicated by, well, setting down that guy. That creates this kind of weird, trippy, swirly pattern in basically a sphere. So I'm trying to mark that sphere out with all this glass stuff, and it'll eventually just be filled with a whole ton of treasures and decorations. And basically, it's a big old treasure room right in the middle of the tower. And I say middle, yes, because this is not as tall as it's going to be. This is just as tall as it currently is. Where's the booty room? This is the booty room. In fact, it's a multi-layered booty room. As for the booty, well, you can actually take a look now, because I also have a bunch of booty in the chests. Tons of silver. Just a ton of silver. So right now, we've got a total value of 50,000. No, that's not. That's pretty good. Like, that'll get us up to a threat level of 8 for the purge. But we're going to try something a little bit lighter for now. Because I'm kind of worried about my thrall biting it really early. So what we can do is we can proclaim our wealth. So draw attention and greed of the Stygian Empire. Now assault the stronghold and seek the treasure. Cannot build during a purge, so prepare the defenses. Well, honestly, they're going to have a hard time fighting their way all the way up. There's a ton of doors. You saw that route we had to walk up to get here. Yeah, I was silver maxing. One of my favorite places to mine for stone happens to be a massive silver mine, so I just accumulated a lot. And in the interest of luring Chronic onto the server, I've actually boosted the harvest rate significantly. So, yeah, now it's basically trivial to accumulate a crap ton of gold and silver bars. But that's why that's not particularly impressive. Now what you need, if you really want to be impressive, is to collect all these rare treasures. Alright, so threat level 8. Let's get down to the base level and see where they set up. We have spiral staircase. I'll lead us down to here. Okay. There's no reachable. Oh, come on. There's no reachable location for the Purge to set up their base camp. Like, is it because my treasure room's way too high up? Do I need to make it lower to the ground? Like, really? You can walk up. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you can totally walk to the top of this. Well, that's the thing. I don't have Dragon Balls, but I do have Dragon statues. Okay, so... Unfortunately, it looks like harder than I would like. So, in order to do this, what we do is go to our decorations, select our clan, select a treasure coffer. So we need shaped wood and iron reinforcement. And somehow that creates a dude. I just go with it. Reach into our stockpile of shaped wood. Reinforcement. Still have some treasures down here on this level. And place him. This one's still level 4, so this work? Sounds like it worked. Kind of annoying if I can't have the treasure vault in the tower, but well, that just means more time to decorate. So let's see. Should set up somewhere around here. Whoa, okay. Yeah, that certainly sounds like something happened. Okay, yeah, so I guess that the other one was just too high off the ground. Yeah, when a purge happens, they set up camp. Oh. Whoa, okay. Guess we're getting started right now, huh?
In the name of Set, identifiers. Look, in the name of Set!
I'm definitely overpowered for a level 4 purge, or at the very least this wave of freaking prisoners.
Blood of the serpent! Enemies at the gate!
My Set, did you see that? My Set, did you see that?
Dang. Okay, wow. There's a lot of bodies that are thrown at me in rapid succession. Alright.
Halt in the name of Set!
I'm just bodying these things. Okay. Check out the boss. Get these challenges completed. Purge boss, purge enemies, purge enemies, purge wave. Up, next wave. I really should have made a temple to Derketo. There's a lot of human sacrifices here that I am just wasting.
In the name of Set, identify yourself.
And at the very least, I should be harvesting them for their hide or something. Same time, I suppose that I could just summon endless waves of purges whenever I want. So, human sacrifices should not be an issue from here on out. Hey, Fish God Nukes, welcome. Throw the bodies in the flesh pit. The bodies are despawning too fast to even do that. Do they only have prisoners at level 4?
By the old serpent, invaders!
Oh, got another fighter here. This one actually packed a bit of a hit. Alright. I mean, not much of a hit, but a hit. Oh, now we're actually getting some people with some basic armor. Okay. Yeah, no. Alright. I guess they send their wave of prisoners. Oh, jeez, they took out... Alright.
Cobra exile, my bite is dead.
Okay, wow, yeah, we,
Set will
Set
grant
will
me
grant
cunning.
me cunning.
Okay, wow. Alright.
Cut your heart out.
Wow, okay. Can't even underestimate a 4 waves. Alright. Wow. Bit was not expecting them to.
By the old.
Man, I was not expecting them to be that good. Okay. Yeah, they're actually broke into the main chamber.
By
Impressive.
the old serpent, invaders.
In the name of Set, identify yourself.
Don't make me.
Blood of the serpent, enemies at the gate.
Going for the treasure. But yeah, I do still have some guards in here. Maybe not the most effective bunch, but they are doing their job. Right? Bandit now.
Set will glory in your death.
I don't know why y'all are attacking that golem, but okay.
Darkness. The serpent, enemies at the gate.
Did you see that?
Hey! Ander? Get that key off of him. 5 keys. Done? Who are you? Oh, alright. and some mediocre supplies. Harp, some components. I'll take it.
I am a dangerous man when free. Surely you have use of me.
Two.
Serpents and stars. I am free.
Iskar the Sellsword.
Speak. What's more, I can sell you war supplies, food, siege equipment, and the like, all at a discount I wouldn't offer my own brother. He's a drunk and a fiend. But that is another story.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh. Interesting. Well, I don't really have much that you'd want at the moment. I like the idea of having a bunch of gold. I have some numbing wraps. $5,000 gold coins. War banners, huh?
Speak. What can I do for you in turn? I can sell you a banner under which my mercenaries will unite to defend you and yours.
You're a curious one. What's this guy got? Another dancer. Alright, well, she's following, and she's, well, easier on the eyes. You move you a bit closer. To come with condoms. Well, you know, there's plenty of animals to get the intestines off of around here, so I'm sure you can make do. What I need to do is see if I can find where the heck my thrall got to. One that died, because, yeah, he had some good armor on him. I'd rather not lose it. Yeah, here he is. Did good kiss this, but it set you up against pretty impossible odds there. I don't know about explosive arrows, but that dancer's definitely equipped with ballistics. Okay, yeah, no, there must have been some friendly fire for my guys to be so hardcore about beating each other up.
Don't make me hurt you, wanderer. Curse you! I don't want to hurt you, but I will. Don't want to cause trouble here.
Thoughts?
make me hurt you, wanderer.
Garden. Will that make you chill out? You just gotta get him far enough away from them that they can stop aggroing.
Cause trouble here. Taste death.
Chill yet? They're chill now. So for the moment, down and Aryan Berserker. He's gonna get the Silent Legion armor for the moment. I don't know if I'll be taking her on a trip just yet. I'll also have to find a place to offload all this stuff that I picked up. Stygian armor. I gotta find more chests to stitch everything in. Build harp we can add to our Alright, so awesome, man. That'll do for the moment. Berserker to follow us. Train her up a bit. Then we are going to need to repair this door. Wood and steel reinforcements. Building materials on hand. Tin. Heat. Need some hardened bricks for that. There. Alright, door's fixed. Workers with us. Now, we're overdue for a bit of adventuring. I don't really feel like respecking just yet. Oh, we still have a commander's key. Oh, nope, that disappeared. That trader's still around. Have near the golden quantities that he wants. So, well, that was interesting. Certainly don't dislike that. If anything, it highlights some changes that I'll need to make to the layout of this place. Because I was really hoping on being able to make that vault really high up, but it looks like the purge system doesn't like that. So I'm going to have to see how low to the ground I can get away with it. Hey, Muscular Alligator, welcome. Oh, we just tried out level 4 purge. And while it did cost me a thrall, it was a valuable learning experience. Check these challenges. So, apply an emblem. Visit Mekkamozi's Spire. That wouldn't be bad. Visit New Azagarth. That's basically next door. Craft alchemical base is easy enough. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of visiting. Let's see how far we got in the battle pass. Cleared a little bit. Nothing real neat into the bazaar. I mean, there's some Stygian pyramid stuff, but pyramids never been my thing. I'm more a fan of circles than pyramids. We're gonna pop down here and take a quick little ride over to New Azagarth and see if anything's different. Scale of the tower, it's sizable. Of course. I need you to like hold still for 5 seconds so I can actually get on. There we go. So we're going to go on a bit of a tour. I actually forgot to visit Mekkamozi's Spire last season. There's been some pretty significant changes, so I'm curious to see if anything has happened or progressed in Season 2. There is somewhat of an unfolding story. Yeah, in the last season, Conan had rescued the princess from Mekkamozi's and decapitated him. Of course, he's a sorcerer, so something like decapitation is an inconvenience rather than something a little more permanent. Past all these guys. Head up the cliffside over here. And that should get us close enough to New Azagarth.
Any closer, and I got you.
Oh, yeah!
I wonder how much the other bases have held up. Set pretty generous decay timers, so it's possible some of them are still around, but it's also possible that they've long since decayed. Like my old little structure's still around, so that's got me high hopes for the other ones. Yeah, looks like the structures are still there. Render in, but they're there. Well, let's take a little look-see here. Visited New Asgard. Let's get close enough. Is that my map room? Yep. Well, one of my many map rooms. Got quite a few scattered around. There we go. Counted as visiting New Asgard. Alright. Complete the Temple of Frost dungeon. That won't take too long. Take long and it'll be good experience. We'll port up to the Temple of Frost real quick. Start building an ark for the coming flood. My tower's tall enough to deal with it. With Sorrow. Actually, might be a good idea. Yep, the required stat boosts. Boost the strength and vitality. Now, I've heard that all the dungeons actually got a revamp. So, I'm curious to see how much the Temple of Frost has changed up, if at all. Normally, it's fairly straightforward. You just have a gauntlet of frost giants between you and the boss. Pork roast, maybe some black ice. I think the lighting's improved. I just haven't been here in a while. That's not bad.
Don't make me hurt you, wanderer.
Oop. Okay. I'm doing pretty good, I'd say. Ooh, black ice arrows. I eat some of this food. An issue?
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
I mean, this is kind of a mid-game dungeon, and I'm in end-game gear, so it's not really surprising. I don't have to worry about the cold snap effect, so you know I'm doing pretty good. Alright, so now 3-on-1, including a frost giant. Right. Yep, just the final boss now. Go! Frost Dungeon done. Harvest, didn't we get the item we want? We got the harvesting rates turned up stupidly high. Maybe I already have the crown, so it's not going to give me. Chest. Huh. Alright. Matria, I do plan on streaming Sunday. I'm thinking we'll stream some El Shaddai. Might be a new game to a bunch of the audience, but it's one that I've been meaning to play for a while. Can I put loot on the horse? I can. I honestly just forgot to. Something like hide. I mean, I could. Wouldn't be a bad idea too, really. Sheer quantity that I'm getting off these guys is insane. Oh, right. The horse is already full of loot that I forgot to remove earlier. Death through exercises? I don't know. Else should I don't tend to die that often in that one. It's been a while though. It's not a like it's not on the level of Dark Souls or Elden Ring. So I don't know. I didn't decide to give you guys the punishment game. Y'all decided on that for yourselves. Hey, Scattered Thoughts, welcome. So, completed the Frost Dungeon. Get a Sabertooth. That's actually not that hard to do, especially since there's one nearby. Got the Battle Pass to reap all the benefits, but that's no biggie. Alright, so let's see. There should be a Sabertooth close by. Just take them out and skin them for the bonus. There. Sabertooth skin. And Reapers, huh? Well, we'll work on that. So for now, take a quick detour or two, and I'll get to show off a little something extra that I put in. A bit of a newer feature for Age of Sorcery, but one that I don't think I've ever shown off on stream. First off, Head to the unnamed city. I'm primarily here to get some fragments of power. Oh, a couple spots where they spawn, so we're just going to do a quick little pick. There's this place here called the Library of Esoteric Artifacts. Prior seasons, basically all prior sections of the game, what recipes you got from the Library of Esoteric Artifacts was random. However, starting in this season, now you actually will only get a recipe that you haven't already gotten. And once you've gotten them all, you'll be unable to get more. It's a bit of a trade-off, because on one hand, it does save you the annoying grind of getting a whole bunch of things you didn't want to get the one thing that you did. On the other hand, like now in a multiplayer context, you can't stockpile rare recipes and then trade them to other people to power everybody's crafting. Oh, knock that one out. Taking down an endgame boss is pretty fast. There is one dungeon that I'd like to try, but I really don't know if the Thrall would survive it. I'd probably be fine, but I kind of want my Thrall to make it through. Got Quake. That. Star Metal. Ooh, Radiant Gems. Those are hard to come by. Fragment of Power. And a Grandmaster Weapon. Ditch. Ivory. And the Fangs. Bone Meal. Oh, extracts actually. Base. Actually, one build I've been curious to try is a Necromancer build. It's got to be very highly corrupted for it to work properly, but it basically allows you to carry a massive amount of zombie followers. Dang, they're, yeah, loot tables have definitely improved. Not gonna say boo to that kind of stuff. Bunch of these guys. Berserker is already level 6. Still have not managed to actually raise one all the way up to level 20. But the Unnamed City is a good place to make a lot of progress on that front. Trying to grind up the battle pass. Let's see, we're all out of XP multipliers though. Probably don't need to focus on it too hard. As for the Library of Esoteric Artifacts, it's down this way. Let's see what the new loot tables are like. Supply of bricks isn't terrible, but it's really nothing worth getting. Take a look-see. Ooh, Tablet of Power. That's actually a very useful one. Decoration item. Power to get more stuff. But a Tablet of Power is handy because you can combine fragments of power, which normally you can use, will just consume to learn additional recipes. But you combine those into tablets of power, then you can learn even more for the same amount of fragments. So it's a pretty good deal. Where we are right now, we're not far from Metcomosi's Spire. Just up this way, so of us to head up there. Plus, I believe that there's another potential fragment just up here.
But I will.
Fragments, as I've probably mentioned before, they spawn semi-randomly. So while there are fixed points where they are, they're not always in those spots. In this case, though, we got lucky. Maybe 10 or so spawn in the 15 or so spots that there could be. I'm not sure. Either way, we'll cash this one in for another rare recipe. And then we'll head off to Metcomosi's Spire to see if he's got anything new there. Grind against a couple more enemies, find the odd treasure, and just maybe level up our Simzerker a little bit more. Yeah, so much the better. Then after we've done a little bit of a tour, we'll go back and we'll do some construction work. Ooh, venom-infused daggers. Those are... well, they used to be the meta item for PvP. Venom daggers. Knowledge section. I think it's at the bottom. Got a lot of different recipes from the Library of Esoteric Artifacts. Sword, war axe, two-handed sword, one-handed sword. Power, some Skelos armor. Good stuff. The kiln is amazing. It's probably I think it's the best furnace in the game, really. Get outside of here so I can hop on the horse. When are we gonna get the demon war pigs? Well, that's actually something that I was thinking about earlier today. Because I've been doing a lot more work with AI scripts, AI voices, and AI art. While the coding for something like Godot is very time consuming, I was wondering if it'd be worthwhile to do a Warband themed game in RPG Maker. Whether I go full on RPG or just go to kind of a visual novel narrative experience, I'm not quite sure. But in that one, I think it would be entirely possible to actually fight some kind of custom war pig enemy. As for Demon War Pigs in Conan, I don't think I found anything. Like, there's hyenas I found. There's the imps, obviously. There's the fish people of Dagon, which I would like to fight. Because I haven't fought them in this particular map yet. Hanok, better to start small. Well, that's the thing, Hanok. When I talk RPG, I'm not talking anything crazy big. But even just a small narrative experience, think like a single module from D&D where you're not meant to go up more than a couple levels. Do a series of scripted fights rather than random encounters. Yeah, that's it right there. Oh wow, Theo. On episode 20? So you're, what, basically halfway through? Jeez, that's like 60 hours. That's impressive. I've actually got to make sure that I download the entire Elden Ring playthrough and just back it up. Because who knows, like, YouTube probably won't nuke this channel anytime soon, but if they did, it'd be nice to have all the Elden Ring stuff saved somewhere. Wouldn't want to lose it. Hey, Garrett Grant, welcome, welcome. We're just exploring to see what the heck's happened in the aftermath of Age of War Season 2. So I better make sure that you are set to guard me. Too bloodthirsty. Oh no, I didn't want you to attack.
I want to hurt you, but I will.
Oh great. Well, I guess we'll see how well they do.
You've got the chance, mate.
Damn it, she's getting stun locked to death. Accidentally scorpion? Conan kind of tore through here and caused a bit of a ruckus. Though, if we felt so inclined... Oh wow, I still got this active. Huh. I mean, we could always do that dungeon if we felt like it, but I need proper weapons for it. Crack.
Greetings, Wanderer. I suspect an interesting and winding road has brought you to me. I am a sculptor. My current medium is blood crystals. Should you bring me some? I am happy to barter with my skills, such as they are.
That's the guy who taught me how to make golems. Ah, here we are. So yeah, to those of you wondering, you know, what happened to Met Kamozis? This is what happened to Met Kamozis. How you doing, Met Kamozis?
Greetings, Exile. The loss of a body is a small matter for one who commands the obeisance of many other bodies. By and by, I shall bide my time, and by my so potent art, make myself whole again.
Yeah, this hasn't changed since last season.
The loss of a body is a small matter for one who commands the obeisance of many other bodies.
So, you know, if other people can act as your arms and legs, everything below the neck's apparently unnecessary. Although, congratulations for being able to speak without lungs.
By and by, I shall bide my time, and by my so potent art, make myself whole again.
Oh, yeah, that's Conan for you. Hates sorcery. He absolutely despises sorcerers. I figure what would be the fastest way. Head down to the river and follow the river.
Don't
All right.
want to cause trouble.
World Gator. Guess we're impromptu boss fight here.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
Quite as tough as I remember.
Don't want to cause trouble here.
Got Heart of the Steel punching daggers, weapon handle, flask. Heart of Steel punching daggers are worth picking up. Is probably worth picking up is usually flash. No. Alright, there we go. Skeleton key. While there are no longer chests in the areas where these bosses hang out, now instead we need to clear dungeons to find the legendary item chests. Instead, we still need to go out and kill these world bosses to get the boss keys to open said chests. And hey, Thalo, if listening to me play Elden Ring helps you sleep, well, I'm glad it's useful. As I wouldn't consider myself the most intense of streamers, but hey, if my voice works as some neat sounding ASMR, then hey, whatever works. Try not to put on too much of an act. I mean, I don't know. I just try to do me. Though, definitely think I'd like to update the expressiveness of this model. I think I went too far in making it stiff, and it'd benefit from being a bit more animated and bouncier. Head down. A bit more, kind of past all the media sites. One of the nice things about Conan is it's actually made with the Unreal Engine, specifically Unreal Engine 4 and not Unity. So I don't have to worry about something nasty happening to this as Unity continues to dig themselves a deeper hole. Have to worry about. To visit kind of an old stomping ground. Set this place up a long time ago, and heck, I still haven't set a proper bed since. So if I die, I respawn right back here. Old base I set up way back in the day, back when I was getting started on this server. right across from the Tower of Bats. And nearby where Locust and company actually set up a kind of a larger base. Do a drive-by. Yep, missed. And here we go. Really here for, though, is this. Palace of the Ghetto. I really need to make proper tools. Iron. I just, ignore the gators nipping at my heels. Here we are. Some iron. Kick to get people out of here. Not much, but this, drop an iron in, and make didn't even, heavy enough to over encumber me. Bumpy and the mystery meat soup. Alright, well, we will take a bit of a detour. Hit a couple of my favorite spots in the unnamed city as we zip across. Can the companion carry some of the loot? Yeah, but right now both of them are completely stuffed. Like, we are all packed to our maximum capacity. And they're all carrying way heavier shit than I am. These little note pages are places where fragments of power usually spawn. Head over that way and see if we can't get some as we go past. Sticking out of the sand right around here. Might kill these relic hunters and see if they've got the treasure on them. Alright, there's what I'm after.
Sets will grant me cunning.
Good treasure. Taxidermy lion. Nope, no treasure. Alright. What about the rest of you?
In the name of Set, identify yourself.
Hobson for Cania. Good.
Like the Cobra, Exile, my bite is dead. Set will glory in your death.
No. That Legion gear, that's actually kind of good.
As the snake strikes, so do
Sandstorm, so if I just wear this mask though, that makes me sandstorm proof. What could I ditch here? I guess I could ditch the stone. Huh. There we go. Got to check on those other ones. Sometimes the relic hunters will carry some Stygian stuff. Oh. Deal with this. Lack of any supernatural power become a symbol of superstition and belief in luck for many. Some will carry it as a token of good fortune or as a personal charm. Finding comfort in the day of its supposed luck, even if it's just a matter of perception. Well, I wouldn't say that it's really working. Take this heavy coin purse, though. It's lucky for me, but it's unlucky for the person who's carrying it. So how lucky can it really be? Yeah, I guess the screen is a bit dark. I significantly decreased the rate of decay for items, so even simple torches now last an incredibly long time. So I should be riding on the horse. Yalgite Chosen Mask is very useful because it's a pretty decent mask for light armor. And it also gives protection from gas clouds and sandstorms. Very handy to have. Past all the glowing skeletons, you know. Don't want to associate with glowies any more than we have to, am I right? Curse wall. No matter how strong you are, you touch that thing, you're dead. Got a couple different names. In general consensus, do not touch if you something a Glowy would say. Very sus. Hey, I'm a ghosty, not a glowy. There's a difference. I'm the gray ghost, not the gray ghost. Go pay Conan a visit. I think we'll go pay Conan a visit and just kind of hear what he has to say, because he's probably got some story developments too. Then we'll come back and I'll show you my humble little abode there. Little workshop away from home. Because this place is actually great for gathering stone in large quantities. Down. Here's the princess that was about to be sacrificed a couple seasons ago.
My blood. It is royal, and apparently coveted for sacrifice. My father is a king, and a dog.
Guard has to run everywhere? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the person immediately following me just has to run around. You know? She's not going to get excellent glutes by riding a horse. No, no, no. You got to run for that shit.
So you live, and we meet again.
Let me get some
Tell me,
ice.
have you had a good chance to look around? Seen your fill of these exiled lands? It's not too late to get back on that crucifix.
I think I'm doing rather well for myself.
Any fool can see that you need answers. Left hanging for the vultures on that cross. A cursed bracelet that keeps you trapped in this place. Everybody trying to kill each other. I should leave you all to your fate. I don't have the stomach for sorcery. Give me a foe that I can strike with cold iron. Ah! I'll be here a while. This wine tastes like boiled camel's piss and the bread's half evil, but I'm comfortable enough. If you have questions, ask. I wandered for a while after I pulled you from that cross. In the south, I found desperate souls and Darfari man-eaters. In the east, apes that walked like men among the overgrown ruins of an ancient city. I found an amphitheater where the ancient dead walked, and the memories of ancient battles stained the sand. It stank of sorcery, so I left. I have traveled far and seen much, from the glittering ice of Asgard to the jungle expanses of the Black Kingdoms. I have been thief, pirate, and mercenary. But nowhere have I seen gods as I see them in this land. These avatars that stalk and spread destruction in their wake. These are not gods. These are what men want gods to be. Weapons. There is a woman. I freed her from the cross just as I did you. I followed her trail across the exiled lands. I missed her here by a scant few hours. She had left in search of a map room and a way to free herself from the exiled lands. Her trail ended in the map room. She was gone and all of her companions slaughtered. Listen. If you have news of Razma of Shem, let me know. What do I know of sorcerers and their feuds? I do not dabble in the dark arts. But whoever and whatever put you here is a wielder of the dark arts. You are like a wolf in a trap. You struggle to flee, and yet, in the end, it will kill you. Be smarter. Find out what they want, then hold it close. They will come for it. And then your jaws around their throat.
Otter Kids, I wouldn't say it's a sequel. like, if you've read the Conan books, and I highly recommend you do, Conan's story is non-linear in the sense that it kind of jumps around his entire timeline. Robert E. Howard actually described it as though Conan was someone who was telling him the stories as they came to him. I think one of the earliest stories of Conan, if not the first one, was actually very late in life, where he was King Conan. Whereas his earliest stories, when he was his youngest, are when he's a thief. So this bit with the exiled lands, this is, well, somewhere between his mercenary life and his king life. The dark arts is the scary part. Honestly, Otter Kids, if you haven't read the books, highly recommend them. Like, it's really great pulp, and you get some very compelling stories for very few pages. It's like, the art of that kind of pulp fiction is very much lost these days. And I think the closest you'd see is maybe user-submitted stories on Reddit or something. But yeah, old school Conan stories are well worth the read if you can find a collection. I managed to find someone's Z library. And if people contact me on Discord and they're interested, I might be able to dig out my collections from somewhere in my computer.
Just remember this. If you do succeed, if you do manage to find a way to remove your bracelet and leave the exiled lands, you will have to make a choice. Stay and be the hero of your own story, or leave and risk losing it all. The choice will be yours. Choose wisely.
And let's be honest, it's kind of hard to walk away from the exiled lands after you build yourself up to such heights.
Twice dead friend.
Short story is 8 o'clock in the morning. Kind of familiar, but couldn't place it. It reminds me of this one Simon and Garfunkel song. Now, Simon and Garfunkel, like, you get upbeat, almost cheery tunes, but then you actually listen to the lyrics and it's like, wow, this is horribly depressing. The one that kind of sticks out to me the most is Wednesday morning, 3 a.m., where the POV speaker is kind of in bed in his woman. Like, he's in bed with his woman, and he's basically telling her as she sleeps that he has to skip town because he just robbed the liquor store, and the cops are after him. They Live, awesome read, only 6 pages. 6 pages! 6 pages for a short story like that. Okay, that is efficient. Now, I imagine some people are fairly familiar with the map rule. Like, there's obelisks dotted all over the map, and this lets you teleport to each one of them. In exchange, though, you have to register them. However, Age of Sorcery added a new way to transport. The Transportory Stone. They allow is for you to set up personal teleporters. Yep, we're right back at the tower. I've considered setting up more, but, well, it takes a bit of time. Right now that we are back, head down, and actually we gotta head in here first, because the horse has a bunch of stuff that we need to offload. Mass producing stone consolidant here. Yeah, because right here, I've been mass producing hardened brick. I plan on going on one heck of a building spree. Here. That cooking. A massively increased crafting speed, but now we can take all these bricks out of the horse's inventory. As well as all hardened leather, steel reinforcement. Hide out of here, as well as this taxidermied lion. It'll cook up pretty fast, but it's still 7,000 bricks. Need to stop haggling in games with AI? What do you mean? Like, every time Greg posts a new Hammerhand Conan pick, it just gets better. Ah, geez, those do kind of look like Hammerhand, I'll admit. Not necessarily the intention, but it does look like them, so. Just the building materials, which is apparently completely stuffed. Build another chest, so I've actually got room for the rest of this stuff. For no reason, do I believe in God? That entirely depends on what someone defines as God. Do I believe in a active, sentient God with a willpower that they are attempting to enforce on the world? No. That's too limited of a perspective for what I view God as, which is more of a personification of fundamental truths. Like, me, the answer to what is God is simply God is. Anything added afterwards dilutes it. There's fundamental aspects of the universe, fundamental rules that everything follows. If it didn't follow those rules, then there would be naught but chaos. You accept these rules and work with them. And that is following God's will. If we don't follow those rules, then, well, we suffer God's wrath. You know, the consequences of trying to go against the rules of reality. You know, kind of like jumping off a building. expecting gravity not to work just because you think you can fly. Like, yeah, there's rules that let you get around that, aerodynamics and various force applications. But if you try to defy the way things are just because you think you can, you will suffer. Efficient harvest for mass gathering. The idea of God is a sentient individual creator. Yeah, now as soon as I'm asked, like, is God a sentient being with an active will? Yeah, I'm going to say no. Because were that true, the scale of the universe would be so large that the idea that God would pay attention to something like humanity, that's kind of like expecting, like if you looked inside an entire warehouse of bread and you were paying attention specifically to the development of the mold on one of the loaves of bread. It just seems way too far-fetched to me. On the scale of the universe, to think that humans as individuals are important on some kind of personal level, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. But if you look at it more metaphorically, where humanity is special because we can understand the fundamental rules of the universe, and so then we can understand the will of God because we have a very conscious curiosity to understand and hammer out what exactly all the rules of the universe are, then yeah, I can see humans as special that way, especially above most, if not all, of the other animals. Yeah, Otter Kids, if it's a simulation, then you got to keep in mind on the scale of the universe how vast such a simulation is. And the idea that humanity is somehow super unique or important enough that some outsider has dove deep enough into the simulation to go with the personal lives of individuals. The closest I could think of would be Dwarf Fortress. But even then, Dwarf Fortress just simulates one planet. Really a continent if you really break it down. But it'd be like on the scale of Dwarf Fortress or RimWorld, but you scale that up to the universe, scale out the timeline to the billions of years that the universe has been around. Again, the idea that a sentient being would waste time with humans, it's a bit much for me to believe. That's the thing. But even then, like, to believe that we're his experiment, again, like, the vastness of the universe just makes it so impersonal. It's too much. Like, if you wanted to make humans to mess with or to observe, like, you wouldn't create an entire universe of stuff that humans would never interact with. The universe would be far more personalized. Like, I could understand that when we thought that, like, Earth was the center of the universe and that the sun revolved around Earth and that the stars were just kind of a paint and stuff. Okay, like, I can understand the idea of being in a terrarium of sorts in that case. But when there's the cosmic scale of the universe and our current understanding, it's just that much harder to believe that we're that particularly special. Endurance. Yep. It. Or vitality. Up authority. We'll get Combo Master. Oh, painting white scars, Terminator Captain. Nice. Yeah, I actually just got all my Tyranids from the Leviathan box set finally assembled, and I'm gonna spray paint them after the stream tonight. And then I've got the Space Marines, which, I mean, I'm tempted to do them as Dark Angels, but at the same time, I think it'd be really cool if I did them as a Scythes of the Emperor, considering their personal history with Tyranids. I don't know. So I usually like to wait until the XP multipliers refresh before trying to grind out the battle pass. Like a freaking 10 times multiplier is nothing to sneeze at. Now we've got a heck of a lot more stuff going for us. Now, well, could build, but I really want to do some harvesting first. Still got some tar here. That seems good. Oh, thanks, Thalo. I'd actually be really curious to see Space Marine paint jobs, or any paint jobs really for the minis. I've actually been trying an Age of Sigmar list out for 1,000 points, but I want to get a decent Tyranid list together. My personal favorite's Hive-Foot Kraken for Tyranids, but I also want to put together Gene Stealer cults and maybe one day actually have a proper combo list that includes both forces. I'm just a huge fan of Tyranid lore. So we will gather up just a whole bunch of supplies here. We're going to go on a bit of a building spree. Head into our little alchemy room. Craft some steel fire. Well, that challenge is to craft that chemical base. Silver dust, which I don't think I have on. Alrighty, so those of you who've been interested in the construction aspect, well, now that I know we need to have some proper defenses closer to ground level, the higher up elements of the tower are going to need to be reworked. Kinda sucks, but gotta take everything in stride. So I've been going for a rough pattern, kind of imitating these towers. Nice little 5x5 space. The one I actually wanted to try today. Some alternative ceiling designs. Vaulted ceiling. There we go. Yeah, I like how that looks. That feels a bit nicer. I initially wanted to try something like these things, but they just don't transfer stability very well vertically. So I nixed the idea. But now I've got a central column that's transferring stability upwards. Doesn't really keep the whole structure together, but I always like to be somewhat redundant with stability. An old habit from the PvP days. The idea of a tower that can fall apart just because someone takes out a key support beam. Oh boy. Not to fall too far, please. There. Got this column upwards. Here. Down a layer of roofs here. 3 high is usually a decent height for most structures that side. But then of course it's a question of, well, what do you want to put inside? Because some things like certain temple builds just won't fit in this kind of footprint. Found a good battle-oriented magic build. I've seen some apparently very good sorcery-based builds. There's one thing that you can do if you hit a high enough level of corruption is actually corrupt your attributes And while you're going to be operating at half health and stamina, it does give you some bonuses to your abilities. Personally, I haven't tried any of them out, but I've heard that they exist. Now let's torch back in the hand here so we can see. Yeah, it is. It's honestly a real shame that this isn't going to work. Wonder if I could get away with it being a bit lower to the ground. I think air hammer here. Yeah, so this one's a foundation. Find some iron reinforcements because maybe I can place it kind of here. Because technically this tower is built around a stone pillar. If I can make that work, I need to actually light this place up properly. Despite everything that I've got going for it, it still feels kind of primitive. Like I don't have radium torches on the walls. No way that this place would smell good with all the fire going around the yard. Period. This place is so complex. I placed the treasure room a little closer to the ground. I could place all of my auxiliary stuff further up the tower. Right. That's too close to an existing coffer, sure. But which existing coffer? Complete the other ones for now. Even if you have your stuff stored outside of its appropriate location, it won't actually disappear. I'm trying to pick it up and trying to delete it. Some stuff gives back full value when you dismantle it, some stuff does not. That one apparently does not. Some stuff that you're not really supposed to be able to move. That one's also too close to an existing coffer, so. There is none. Out of the coffer and dismantle it. Place in basically dead center. Problem is, if I activate this now, I don't know if I'll actually be able to survive it. Have you ever played Spore? Yeah, I played Spore. I never beat it all the way, but I played Spore. What exactly is the drawbacks of being corrupt? Corruption permanently caps your maximum health and stamina to a maximum of 50%, which if you're going to use a corruption build is what you want. Curious to try it, but I don't really have a lot of experience with it. that that one works. Because, like, now it's fairly close to the ground, so realistically I'd think that it would be enough to spawn one, but I don't know for sure if it will or not. At the very least, something else that I need to do if I'm going to do this is I need another layer of defense. X-Thoughts. Heavy, can I commit to the defense? Furniture stuff here. Hidden door options. Danian, Nemedian. It'd actually be a better foundation. That's what, because that's... that honestly looks kind of weird. Yeah, I like the arena stuff better. That not lining up is just kind of bugging me. Reset the perk thing. Yeah, well, there's the cleansing route. The other way to get rid of the corruption, actually, is to be in the presence of a dancer. The entertainment buff removes corruption, so... Honestly, it's kind of hard for me to be in a purely corrupt build unless I do something about all these dancers that I keep around. And yes, of course, there's also things like Cleansing Brew. I think we'll do here. How are we going to go with this? It's actually a question that I do need to answer, because as someone who really likes symmetrical design, I want to work on an outer wall for the tower. I at least want to have that solid. So if I accept that this is kind of the line up here. I think that this right here, the point where it needs to change back to squares. The real question is, how far out does that go, though? How far across does it go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 5, 6. Seven, 8. I had to go with something that was 9 by 9. Let's get an idea for how much surface area we're working with. Okay, I should be making this out of a dungeon set. Building a perimeter wall, Riggs? I'm working on kind of the basic design for the perimeter wall. Giving kind of a 9 by 9 area doesn't seem like a bad way to go. Flat ground to work with. And 4 in the air from either side. 9 by 9 is probably about as big as we realistically can go. Assuming that the outsides are all supported. This get some quick arena pillars. Honestly, even just some standard walls would probably do the trick, but pillars are far more stable and far more recommended if you're doing something that's got a decent size. Outer rings of walls to make attacks harder? Yes. And that's what I'm trying to work out the dimensions for right now. Because as we saw when we popped it last time inside the structure, it appeared down there-ish. So if we reinforce this structure here, gather some resources as we go. The problem is we're going to run into points where the NPC terrain is going to say no to being able to build any further. At the very least, be able to finish the shape. So, like, if we hit a point where it's like, oh, hey, you can't build here because this is part of pre-selected terrain for NPC structures, well, then it is what it is, and we just back off of it. But I think we're actually going to make it. Oh, that's why. Attached to something back there I can't see. Make the thralls funnel the attackers into an enclosed area that can trap them. Well, there's two problems with that. Number one, there's things called demolishers. And two, in order to successfully create the purge, there does need to be a very clear pathway to the treasure room. So I think at best, I'll be able to filter them through a series of kill zones where they'd be able to break through the doors. But if I don't put doors in the way and I try to instead trap them with walls, then the purge is going to break and it's not going to work. And at the same time, I am also anticipating PvP at some point in the future. You know, if more people actually get interested enough to join the server. And maybe even want to do PvP rather than just build cool shit, which is, well, kind of what I'm all about. Yeah, right now, working on the design for anti-purge is fun. We have this. What we have down here is what I see as opportunity. I did pay a bit for the Lost Dungeon Foundation. I think it would be a waste to not utilize them, really. They add a nice little dimension to the ability to move around. play Valheim, I'm kind of dedicated to Conan. Like, Valheim's good in its own way, but I've been playing Conan for a long time, and I'm just fairly invested in the game series. Well, I guess not game series, but just game individually. Valheim would have been fun if I discovered it first, but I've literally sunk thousands of hours into Conan. Just too curious to build neat stuff, and I like the PvP, and the mechanics are always shifting. The most recent thing is they got rid of God Bubbles, and that's going to be, I'll be honest, it's going to be absolute chaos on a lot of servers. Because previously untouchable bases will be rendered wide open. I'm not sure what the full fallout's going to be, but I'm curious to some of the more dedicated Conan YouTubers as to what they intend to do with all the fancy new toys they'll be given. Try to level this off. Here's the thing, with the size of this build, you can see how quickly I'm burning through resources. Because even with the completely, absolutely insane amount of resources that I gathered up, I'm actually burning through them at a pretty fast rate, and I'm going to need to start restocking soon. Plus side, this base is rapidly becoming so big that, like, you could probably damage it, hollow it out, beat the crap out of it, but the amount of investment you'd need to do. Yep, I'm already out of steel reinforcements. What you would need to do to actually destroy this base is so insane that it's impractical, just in the amount of time you'd need to commit to doing it. Even using gods, it would take quite a bit. Although, given what I've done to the harvest rates on this server, farming up enough gods to destroy this in its entirety might not be impossible. But what we're going to do is we're going to deposit as much of the hardened brick as we want in here. There's other building materials we'll put here. I've really got to rearrange and make this base neater. The upper layer's freed up. Hopefully. This really wanted a nice centrally placed system. Apparently count for something. Yeah, they're a treasure. Count as a bit. What we need in order to make steel is, number one, iron. We have a crap ton of iron. Like, just a frankly obscene amount of iron. So that's not something we need to worry about. Up, we need wood in in large quantities. Not particularly difficult, I have. Again, quite frankly, an obscene amount. But we need brimstone and tar, and those I am actually in somewhat short supply of, because I haven't restocked on brimstone or tar since my updates the harvesting rates. So we're going to go on a bit of a harvesting run. So I'm just going to empty out basically everything that I think is unnecessary. Free up as much inventory space as possible. Toss into a random bench. Then traveling, and we'll be fighting stuff. I'll bring along a horse and the Simzerker. We are going to go on a brimstone harvesting run. I mean, I could just work on a rough layout using entirely sandstone stuff, but quite frankly, it is beyond annoying. Like, I mean, yeah, I could work on the layout, but then I just have to go around and redo everything in higher grade materials. And if I'm going to do that, I'd much rather at least have the more advanced stuff cooking in the process. We're going to do a little bit of shopping. Where the Yogite Chosen Mask actually comes in real handy. The Shattered Spring is the best place to get brimstone. If you don't have a gas mask of some sort, you're going to be taking damage the whole time. Not a lot, so you can usually get enough to get you going, but you'll want to make a sandstorm mask as fast as you can. The reason I'm ignoring all the stone and wood is because I want to maximize the amount of space for brimstone in my inventory. Yeah, because I've improved the harvesting rate by literally 10 times, we're going to fill up real fast with this inventory. Sure to keep it a decent health pool. It'll be embarrassing to die to these guys here. Yeah, Rock Nose is now coming a brimstone flavor. Not too much to worry about. I used to just kind of scurry around the rock noses before too. I mean, you can beat them up, and they do give a little bit extra. But it's not exactly like it's a lot. Don't underestimate the Sim Zerkers. They are very powerful. I'd have to double check exactly what the stat multipliers are, but they've definitely got some of the best health and strength of any thrall in the game. Although that list's probably updated to include some pretty impressive ones if I knew, well, if I really bothered to look. But overpowered thralls haven't really been a concern lately. These guys are freaky. They used to be an army. Shattered Springs apparently where some massive sorcery was unleashed. Absolutely annihilated the army here, turned them into trees, and left the whole place a barren wasteland. Build Wheel of Friendship time? I'd want to change my build to something a little more friendly. Like 10 Authority is okay, but it's not great. Guys, I'm really trying to get one follower to level 20. Like, I need that to complete the Overlord path on the journey steps. It's just been elusive because I haven't had a thrall that's actually survived all the way to level 20 yet. Horses, yeah, but not a human. I'm hoping that the Sim Zerka will make it, but well, really tense down here. Easy to tell where I haven't been, just look for the areas with brimstone. Thing is, brimstone stacks in sets of 500. You have 100 items. No, I think you have 200 items. So the absolute maximum brimstone you can hold is 100,000. Of course, that's not including like the weapons, the armor, just the various other little things that I'm carrying for quality of life, or just because I couldn't find a good spot to put them.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
So realistically, I'm either just going to clear out the spring, or this is going to cap out at some point.
I don't want to cause trouble.
A world boss around here that I want to fight too. Skeleton key for later. The way I figure, if I'm able to leave here with 50,000 brimstone, that'll do for a bit, because that does translate into roughly 50,000 steel, which will go pretty far. Yeah, we got Rock Branch active. They're having a hard time against Rod Branch.
I'll take you.
Alright, we're doing okay now. Oh boy.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will. Don't make me hurt.
Go. Let's take down Rot Branch. Get ourselves, well, not really the best gear. Maybe harvesting gets me what I want. Well, I got the skeleton key anyway. Yeah, we're just aiming for approximately 50,000 brimstone. Get pretty fast. Already at 46,000. Wait, is the chest still here? Well, I thought that those were restricted to dungeons. I didn't think that those hung around in boss areas anymore. Legendary knives. Over 50,000 brimstone? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Still a lot to gather if you feel so inclined. Which you kind of do. $7K, 58K. Oh, was that capped? Nope, not quite. I didn't get the chest? No, I got the chest. I just didn't think that the chests would appear anymore. Because in this season, chests are only supposed to be at the ends of dungeons. So, I mean, this is a private server. It's possible that it didn't update completely. But at the same time, we've got the new season pass. And we successfully activated the new purge. So maybe they just didn't end up moving the chest to dungeons. Certainly possible, but strange. Oh, see, now it's not actually increasing anymore, meaning we've hit our complete item cap. Yeah, honestly, too much salt. So if we drop all the salt, now we can resume picking up more brimstone. Basically, every single node I take out here is a stack and a half, which is absolutely crazy as far as brimstone harvesting is concerned. I can't really ride the horse in this condition. While I might be able to run at full sprint regardless of carry weight, the horse is not granted those same abilities. How are we doing with Simzerker here? Not quite level 10, huh? Yeah, but still pretty high vitality. Fights non-stop. Well, there's more than enough enemies down there to fight. What we'll have to head to next is the savannah. This place is really good for, well, a lot of stuff. It is not particularly good for hide. We need hide, tar, and we need tar to get steel fire. And we need steel fire to get steel reinforcements. I'm kind of in the middle of the desert, and that was water. Could go to the Oasis or even Sepremere if I really wanted to take a bath, though. Flesh that I'm never gonna be able to consume. Hate wasting resources, but at this point, there's just so many resources I'm gathering. It's kind of hard not. Toss it all in the compost. All I gotta do is stop running for half a second and my bar basically fills right back up. Base loading in. Not a terrible view of the tower, at least in its current state. The most disappointing part of the Lost Dungeon Foundations triangle options. You can only use them with square bases. Fairly annoying to me. And the difficulty, but it just feels like a huge opportunity lost. There's, honestly, we'll probably have to. I could see us having to build another chest. satellites. Huh? See, these days, I don't know whether the satellites are kind of cool and comforting, or full dystopian crap. I'll admit, I don't trust the guy that wants to put. But I don't want to have a microchip implanted subdermally? Yeah, no. I ain't behind that. Space lasers? Okay. Well, I don't have the math on hand. The amount of energy required to actually ignite something at the distance from space is beyond ludicrous. To the point where it's... I mean, is it literally impossible? No. Is it so impractical it may as well be impossible? From my understanding, yes. We should be good on Brimstone for a while. Has to be really, really big. Okay, like... Alright, so there's this one series of, I don't know, hypothetical questions called What If, where this dude gives the literal answer to ridiculous questions. And in one of them, he gets asked the question, how many laser pointers would you have to point at the dark side of the moon to lighten it up? And apparently, in order to make the dark side of the moon bright, you would need enough lasers to drain the entire power grid on Earth, ignite the atmosphere, and it would cause the surface of the moon to vaporize and blast away. I don't think that we have the kind of generators in space required to ignite something on Earth through the atmosphere from space. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that is where I'm skeptical about space lasers causing ignitions. I just don't think that we have the power supply in space required to do such a thing. I'm open to being wrong on this, and I really hope I'm not. Need to throw more money at the project. Well, let me this way. I think at the very least, we would need an active nuclear reactor in space. Which, for all I know, might actually be viable. Admittedly, nuclear reactors aren't really my forte. Like, nuclear physics wasn't exactly my major in university, so... I need some sort of chemical reaction that takes advantage of conditions in space. Well, that's where I think nuclear might be useful. Because given how cold space is, I think it'd be easier to control the temperature of a nuclear reaction and prevent a meltdown in space than it would be on Earth. But at the same time, considering how much water we utilize to maintain nuclear reactors, again, like that's material that we'd have to have up in space, utilize in space, probably regularly resupply in space using God knows how much energy to get it up there. Like, look, if we were going to weaponize satellites, I just think lasers are really inefficient. We'd be better off just equipping them with some tungsten rods and then dropping them from space, rod from God style, and causing essentially meteoric impacts. Perhaps a bit harder to explain as natural phenomena, but rods from God are basically the ultimate in space destruction, and to the best of my knowledge, they don't violate any laws. Because it's basically just weaponized space debris. Intercontinental cannon. I mean, we have intercontinental cannons. They're called ICBMs. But I mean, like, if you're talking about something that can just kind of like fire and forget without needing constant guidance and adjustments, well, it's not going to be accurate. That's really the disadvantage. But surely with rail cannons, we have something that could technically shoot between continents. Out. Can. Does not take very long because I boosted crafting speed by at least 10 times. I really made this stuff go fast. Drill through the earth and make city-sized sinkholes. Okay, earth moving on that scale is, again, incredibly inefficient and beyond expensive. Okay, I gotta pack up a bunch of this leather. Thick leather in one. Well, I mean, again, just impractical. Impossible, no, but really bloody impractical. Not to mention, oh, God, I'm just trying to think of all the complexities. Like, what you'd really want to try to do is fill it with water, if you could. I can speak from experience. If you want to make any sort of attempt to fill in a hole complicated, you add water. And the additional erosion that it would cause would be nightmarish. So, like, let's say you wanted to do something about New York City. All you'd really need to do is make some kind of tunnel between the ocean and the subway system. But good luck doing such a thing in secrecy. Like, the tremors from that kind of underground construction would absolutely be noticeable. You think we'll ever bring back mammoths? I don't think it's impossible. I think we have enough samples of their DNA that they're probably clonable. And even if they're not directly clonable, all we have to do is see if there's some kind of common ancestor to mammoths. Maybe we could bring them back that way, but if they were a genetic dead end and they didn't evolve into something else, because we brought back the teeth in chickens, I think that we could maybe make, well, hairy elephants. But even if we were to clone a mammoth, we'd have to have them gestate inside an elephant. And I don't know if elephants are actually big enough to put mammoths in, because at least the depictions of mammoths I've seen, they're kind of bigger than elephants. Now, all that goes out the window if we make some kind of artificial elephant womb. That'll be a whole different kettle of fish to deal with. Toss this leather on top. Do about the 14-minute mark. Time to wrap up. I did only plan on going for 3 hours. That's the thing. Even with like all the adjustments and shortcuts and massive harvesting rates that I've shoved on top of this, the sad truth is that it's just not super fast. Nice if it was faster to work with, but trying to gather up the materials required in order to actually create a size network of stuff, it's beyond ludicrous. The materials cost of just this outer wall section alone is crazy. To say nothing of the ambitions for the tower itself. I had to turn on the 10 times harvesting rate just to get it remotely tolerable. A building size booty. Hey, let me put it this way. If Brittany Venti were to sit on this tower, she might actually feel something. Storms are blowing through. So you're scared or turned on? The correct term, Raisin, is scare-roused. Wanderer clan who installed this elevator. currently decayed, but hopefully with a little bit of use. A bit longer yet. Worst case scenario, I'll have to build my own bridge infrastructure here. And if humans try to figure out a way to create the universe, we would still go Puniti? Well, let's be honest. From what we know of black holes, is that not truly the ultimate squeeze? The tightest hole that has ever been. The ultimate in stimulation. I mean, have you even truly experienced the heights of pleasure until you've had your genitals spaghettified by a black hole? And yes, that is the technical term for what a black hole does to matter that gets too close. Spaghettification. Ain't shitting you, look it up. Base I made as well. Crap in here too. Oh yeah, I think I also made like a map room or something of the sort up here. Looks kind of weird, but I'm a fan of circles and using the triangles. I don't know what else to say to justify myself on that.
Don't make me hurt you, Wanderer.
It'd be better to try going somewhere with a lot of crocodiles. Like, it's long since been conventional wisdom that this is the best place to hunt for hide. I wonder how true that is, because reptile hide converts at a 1-to-1 ratio. Oh. Yeah, world boss. This guy's a tough cookie. Crazy high amounts of health.
I don't want to hurt you, but I will.
We are born of Puniti, made men by Puniti, undone by Puniti. Oh, Brutus, fear the old Poon. Oh, now I want to make some freaking Bloodborne AI voices. I forget the guy's name, but just to have him say that line. Boxes are weird.
Don't want to call
This is very much like Dark Souls, the survival RPG. Combat feels very Souls-esque, but it does have so many survival mechanics. Including the bullshit hitboxes from Dark Souls 2. Fighting or fucking? I wasn't in the recording booth. He's getting tossed around by an elephant, so, you know, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
don't want to hurt.
You have to offer hardened steel sword, screw that. Lance core, sure. Ebony silk, meat, glass flask, fine. Thank you. Hide. Doing a bit better with our search for hide, but mountain guys that we gotta take down for kind of ludicrous. It'd almost be better to try to summon a purge and then just harvest all the bodies. Other question is, where's Thunderfoot's chest? Because Thunderfoot is the name of that 3-skull elephant we just took down. There are chests nearby that will get us a legendary weapon from them. Should be, but it's kind of out of the middle. Weirdly, a little hard to spot. And first the poor camels, but we've run up on about the 3-hour mark. Got a flying elephant there. Now I've seen everything. So I'm probably gonna hunt for a little more leather and then see if Chronic or whatnot streaming tonight, but we might give this a revisit later on when I've made a few more adjustments to the tower, and I do want to run the Dagon dungeon. So for now, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll probably get back to this later, and y'all have a good night. Peace out, Warband.